Hey, Ginny and Tina.
Hello.
Break a leg, so to speak.
All right, good?
Yep.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us for our Unite for CRT meeting. We have a really fun night planned, so I'm really looking forward to this one. And if you guys aren't speaking at the moment, if you don't mind, just throw in your Zoom. That way we don't have any background noise and everything while other people are talking. But after we get our presentation done, we are going to open it up for a Q&A session. So we would love to have everybody join in at that point. So it should be a real fun evening. We have a special guest tonight. Her name is Tina Pedersen, and we're going to get to her in just one sec. But I just wanted to, first of all, just welcome everybody and say thank you so much for joining us on our Unite for CRT meeting. It's good to see some new faces that it seems like each month we're getting a couple new people in, which is great. And familiar faces are always fun to see too. So just a real quick background on us for people that are unfamiliar with the organization. But Unite for CRT was established close to about 2 years ago now. And it was established with a group that we go out to advocate in Washington, D.C. For complex rehab technology. And the goal was, how do we keep this going once we're all away from the Hill? Because, the work just starts at the Hill. That's not where our work is done. So we wanted to figure out a way to keep people connected and to keep people motivated when we weren't all together. And then before we knew it, it just evolved into something so much more, which is what is really cool for me and something that I'm really passionate about and really excited about. So what we like to do is bridge the gap between reality and perceptions of what it's like for people to live with a disability. So we like to really get out there and educate and have great discussions with our groups of people about, we've done so many different meetings, ranging from balancing your caregivers to traveling with a disability to using assistive technology in your everyday life. We've had some great meetings, and it's turned into just a fun group where we can gather and not only learn from each other, but also have a good time together. So it's really started to grow and become something even bigger and better than what we kind of thought it would be when we first started to discuss it. So I'm really happy to see you guys here tonight and see new faces, and welcome in some new faces. So again, we have a really awesome guest tonight. Tina is, I couldn't even go on about everything that she does. She's going to do that herself because she has so much going on in her life. But just a quick overview. She's a president, founder, CEO of RAMP, which is Real Access Motivates Progress. That's an organization that she established. She's a chairwoman for Disability Awareness Committee. She's the vice chair at Governor's Commission on Disability. She was a Miss Wheelchair at one point. So Tina is a very wonderful woman that I can't wait to talk some more about. So hi, Tina. Welcome to Unite for CRT.
Good evening, everybody. I'm so happy to be here, and I can't wait to meet all of you and interact and just talk about us.
Yeah, Tina has such a wonderful story and so many wonderful things that she's doing right now. So her and I are just going to have a little Q&A session here just to kind of get you guys familiar with who she is and what she does and everything she's involved in. And then like we usually do, like to open it up just for the floor for just some discussion between all of us. So we'll kind of get to know Tina, and then we'll kind of take it from there. So Tina, I know you have not been, disabled for your entire life. Do you mind giving us a background on, what your disability is?
Oh, no, not at all. I'm actually a 4-time cancer survivor, breast cancer twice, bladder cancer twice. And my last bout with bladder cancer, they ended up removing my entire bladder and giving me a prosthetic one. And a month after the main surgery, I went in for a minor tweak to it. And the 10-minute surgery, I suffered a stroke to my spinal cord. I woke up from the 10-minute surgery with no use or feeling in my leg. So my life changed in an instant just 6 short years ago.
Wow. And you've done so much since then. And what has motivated you to, make positives out of the new life that was handed to you? Why did you choose to go down the path that you went down?
Well, you literally in life, with everything life has thrown at me, you have two choices: roll in a ball and cry about it and waste the rest of your life, or get up, face it, and learn to navigate the world with whatever God has given you. And I have two children and grandchildren, and I have a life to live, and I'm not going to waste a second of it. So God put me in a wheelchair for a reason. So I got a big mouth. I might as well use it. My legs don't work. My mouth sure does. So let's find a new way to use it.
Absolutely. And you have such wonderful programs that you're involved with and wonderful platforms. And one that I want to talk to you specifically about is RAMP. So can you explain what RAMP is, where the idea came from, what your organization about, and everything that you guys accomplish?
Yeah, RAMP, Real Access Motivates Progress, is our nonprofit organization, and we are national. We are not just from my state. We are actually national. When I was a Miss Wheelchair, I was a coordinator for Miss Wheelchair, but I didn't want to just advocate for women in wheelchairs. I had so much more empowerment in me to advocate for men, women, children, everything. So I needed something bigger and better. So I passed down the organization to my successor, and I started RAMP because we wanted to open it up and make accessibility and inclusion for everybody. And I couldn't just focus. I have too much energy just to focus down to one. And we do it in a new positive way. That's why within the first year of RAMP, we went national. We're representative in other states across the country, and we're always looking to find representatives in different states to start an organization under our umbrella and be part of us, because we can't do this alone. We need everybody to do it with us. So if we can all help each other out, we all have the same goal. Accessibility and inclusion is what every person of disability is looking for in some way, shape, or form. And we just found a niche that does it in such a positive way, giving businesses and people real world outlooks and actually the ways of actually doing it. Not just telling them they have to be, but giving them and showing them how they can be and how they can make it affordable. Like I said, we went national on the first year, and we've been so successful. And I've spoken all over the country, now on Zoom, so I don't even have to leave the kindness of my own home. I can do it with my two dogs on top of me and have a full conversation with people across the country, and it's great.
That's awesome. And talk about, some of those successes that you guys have had, some of the accomplishments that you've already made with such a, still fairly new program.
Yeah, what we do is we do what we call roll-throughs through businesses. So we interact with different businesses, and we're all about breaking barriers. So the first barrier we break is we charge for nothing that we do. If you like what we do and we have benefited your business, throw us a donation to our organization. But no one can say that they can't afford to learn about accessibility or inclusion, that we take that right off the table. So what we do is we go to businesses and we do roll-throughs. We have an old town here in Providence where we're just like so old colony that we did a roll-through through one of the oldest libraries in the country. And they thought they were going to have to spend like $50,000 to become ADA compliant for accessibility. They spent less than $1,000 and they're fully accessible. It's a matter of they didn't know, they were focusing on the wrong things. They were focusing on the wrong way of doing it. And as soon as you bring up ADA compliant to somebody, they see thousands of dollars in dollar bills. They don't see the benefits. We're basically fighting people to give them our money. When we want a bar or a dance club or nightlife to open, we're begging them to become accessible so we can give them our money. But what they don't realize is when I go out, I come 4, 5, 6, 7 people with me, not all in wheelchairs, obviously, because we're not a cult, and we're not like a group, which people think like if I become accessible, like everybody's going to roll in together. That's not how it works. But we do have friends and family and stuff that we can go out and we can make memories with, and we can be with people. And the way that we present it is so empowering to other people, because I truly don't believe anybody is maliciously inaccessible. They're inaccessible because they don't realize what they need to do. I mean, how many of us have used one of those bathrooms with a pretty little wheelchair symbol on the door saying it's accessible, but your wheelchair doesn't fit in the bathroom. Like, that symbol means nothing if the compliancy isn't there. So I actually grab a manager and I say, here, this is what I'm going to show you why that little sticker means nothing. And once they see it, a lot of them are embarrassed. I'm like, you don't run the company, you manage the store. There's nothing you can do about it. But here's how. Remove this stall next to it. Make this stall a little bit bigger. Change the way you do it. Change, just as simple as changing the way the door opens. Instead of having it open in, have it open out. Simple things that people don't realize, that you watch the light bulb go off above their head, and it's so incredible. You know, we did a whole a pinball club where they have all arcade games, and he's like, there's no way I'm going to be able to make this accessible. In one afternoon, the entire place and my wheelchair could get to every single game in the building, up to the bar, up to everywhere, with simple little tweaks and twerks that we did to make it accessible. And that's all that matters. Is every place going to be 100% accessible? No. Do we want every place to be 100% accessible? Not really, but you never know who's into what. So you should at least make the attempt and try. And we give people the real world ways of doing that. And we also go into schools from elementary straight through to college. We gear a thing like for the younger kids, we let them touch and feel, and I play with them. What do you think I can't do in my wheelchair? And I get right down on the floor with them and let them ask the questions that their parents would shush them for if we were out and about. We take that fear away. We talk about bullying and how to get over life's problems and what life throws at you through middle and high school. And then when we get to the OTs and to the nurses and to the colleges, I've worked on so many college senior projects, from accessible desks to accessible shopping carts to accessible clothing. But my ask before I even start the project is, your last thing on this project is to come up with the next step to leave it to a junior coming up, so the project never dies. I've been working on one project for 4 years and the steps, one college could open their own company now, making accessible stuff for the disabled, because they've gotten so much into it, they've actually opened their own business. This is what they're doing with their life after college because of a school project that went on for a few years. We can change the world together by giving them the ideas and letting them run with it.
Well, that's what seems so cool. It's like your mission is so much about just educating, period. Whether it's about accessibility or educating about what it's like to live with a disability. I mean, how important is it for you just to get out there and just educate the population just in general?
Yeah, I mean, it's so important because, like I said, nobody's maliciously, like, even my own family had a hard time dealing with me being in a wheelchair. They couldn't understand how I get up and smile and you know, or I don't like it when you happen to show up at Walmart or Target and people, oh, you're so inspirational. I said, I'm not inspirational because I happen to be up, hairbrushed, and shoes on. Because when you don't feel your feet, it's a real thing. I forget my shoes 90% of the time. So see me in an hour. I may not look like this. So that's not the inspirational part. Some of the things we may do are inspirational, but just because I'm out and about, and we want to take that connotation out. I'm like everybody else. We fight so hard to just be like everybody else. We don't want to stand out. We want to blend in. We just want to be part of it. And that's what people don't understand. We're not doing this to stand out. We're doing this to blend in and to be with everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's that special treatment that we want. It's just to be a part of the world and function in a day-to-day basis. And I think that's great. And that seems like a lot of, you know, some of the accomplishments that you guys are doing with RAMP, which I really, really love. And RAMP is just one thing that Tina is involved with. I want to talk to her about a couple of other things. Tell me about your Red Bag Initiative. What is that?
My Red Bag Initiative is my baby. It is something that I had started when I first became disabled, and I have such an extensive health issue between the strokes and the cancer and the wheelchair and everything else going on. I was so sick of telling everybody what's wrong with me or what I'm on. So I started just carrying around this little red makeup bag with me and just said, you know, if the EMTs are called, just make sure you give them my red bag. All of my information is in there. And then a couple of my friends started, taking on the idea because we were working and we were volunteering at places and stuff like that. It actually saved 2 of my friends' lives, their red bag, because it had the medication that was in it to save 1 life. And my 20-year-old son, who has nothing wrong with him, carries one because he wants to be an organ donor. And he doesn't want me to have to make that decision if it ever came to that. So it works for everybody. It's carrying all of your medical information on you at all times. And the best part is it's non-tech based. How many people will say to you, oh, I have my information on my cell phone or on this USB cord? Well, that's great if the power goes out or there's a hurricane or you're in the middle of the woods like Ben and then you're in one of Ben's wheelchairs out in the middle of nowhere. A power cord is not going to do anything for you. And I don't know how many EMTs that I talked to said, our last words to somebody does not want to be, don't die yet, give me your passcode so I can get into your phone. This is, as I call it, your medical information for dummies. It's a quick rundown, and we have a card in every bag that tells you what you should have in the bag. If you want to be an organ donor, if you want somebody contacted, it takes all of the HIPAA laws out. It takes all of the information out. And like in mine, I carry my full medical folder underneath my wheelchair. But if you looked at my wheelchair, you would never see it. But in my red bag, it directs to EMTs exactly where my medical folder is on so it's on me, but nobody knows it's there. Nobody would even think to look for it. But yet, no matter where I travel to, my full medical history is with me at all times.
So if somebody wants help, building their own red bag, like how do you guys help people? Do you guys give them direction? Do you guys actually?
Well, you can go to our website and you can purchase one. We make no money on these bags. It all goes right back into the initiative. We charge $3 for the bag and it comes with the card and the instructions inside. To every bag that we sell, we replenish the bags. And then we donate a bag to the homeless or to the veterans or to anybody who can't afford a bag. Or we have businesses who purchase hundreds of bags at a time and they can give them out to whoever they want. Just enough for us to replenish the bags to keep the initiative going. There are over 15,000 bags out and around the country. I did a training for over 15,000 first responders across the country. And my best feat is FEMA has picked up our Red Bag Initiative. So now it has gone global since last September. So a little over a year, we went global because FEMA gives out our red bags because they love the idea and the initiative so much.
Wow, that's awesome. And I think Annette just put in the chat the website where you could go to, learn more about Tina's Red Bag Initiative and how to, get involved and how to maybe get one for yourself. So I believe that's what just went out in the chat. So
and some of the states that are under us, like Kentucky and Michigan, they purchase the red bags in bulk through us, and then they have their own Red Bag Initiative in their own state. So if anybody on the call wants to open up a ramp organization in their state, I will help you guide through that, and then you can purchase the red bags and give them out in your own state as well.
And that's one thing that I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about too, is, you have all these different initiatives, and that's the biggest part of what I want to get across this evening is how do we get involved. But one other thing that I want people to know about is your podcast. You have a really great podcast, and I want you to just kind of tell us about the background of your podcast and what your mission is, because it's not just about getting guests that have disabilities, but it's about making a difference and helping others. So tell us more about your podcast.
Yeah, my podcast started because I am an icon in my state. But then again, like I said, my state is 45 minutes from one end to the other with sightseeing. So, to say that I'm an icon and well-known in my state, is it really saying much when my state is so tiny? But I talk so much and I'm involved in so many different events and organizations that I was blessed to be given a podcast. I'm the only free podcast on this national network that they had given us, because I bring in the most people, because people want to hear what we talk about. I was honored to have Ben as one of my guests, and I was just telling him earlier tonight that his podcast was seen over 115,000 people have seen his podcast. And he said his website, our whole initiative is anybody who has a business, an organization, or an idea we want to promote you on my hour-long live podcast on Wednesday nights. We are on episode 19, 18, 19, I think, this week, and we have already spread to over 100,000 people nationwide are seeing our podcast. And it's all about disability and inclusion. We have, so like tomorrow night, I have my Governor's Commission for Disability that we're going to be promoting. We promoted our great local 211 to let people know 211 is national. Everybody has a 211 in their state, but they don't know how to utilize it and they don't know how to do the right things. And we've geared ours to disability. So there are parts of our 211 here in Rhode Island that we have now flipped to Mass, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Vermont, where they can now access the same 211 that we have, and they do the same things for disability. So it's a matter of spreading the word, finding out what works in everybody else's state, and pulling it all together. Again, we need each other, because what may work in my state may not work in yours, or what works in yours we may not know about. So let's work together and interact, and let's talk about it, and let's fix it, and let's be unified across the country. Who cares who gets the credit for it? I don't care about that. We all have the same goal, and let's work together and let's make it work. That is the bottom line, is we want to be under one umbrella, and we want everybody to work the same. So no matter where you go in this country, we are unified, and we are inclusive, and we are accessible, and we are working together.
You are such a motivational person. I just want to like get up and go do something right now. So you're a rock star. You're just awesome. If people want to be a guest on your podcast or want to listen to some of your past podcasts, can they access that on your website?
No, it's not on my website as of yet. We're figuring out how to, like I said, we're only on episode 20, so we haven't figured out all of the ins and outs of it, but it's on my Facebook page. Each episode is posted on my Facebook page. RAMP, Real Access Motivates Progress. If I have a link, I can post that later, but if you just friend us on my Facebook page, every week that we're live, it's right there and it stays there. So you can, and then I also do other like motivational speaking throughout the week. I don't even want to say motivational speaking, whatever happens to pop into my head. I just decide, like today I went live in my vehicle today because, you know, I have a lot going on, and I'm building a wheelchair accessible Habitat for Humanity home right now. The first one in Rhode Island, which is going to actually be mine. So between that and moving my organization, the pandemic, and working for the state, I'm a little busy. But I decided I didn't have enough. So we started a food drive. A couple of people have reached out to me who can't get into the pantries and the food pantries because they're disabled, or they can't drive, or they can't get into the bottoms of the churches. So I reached out, and now I'm out every day picking up food for food drives and clothing for teenagers and bathrobes for adults. And we're delivering them anonymously throughout our state. We're just dropping brown boxes off on people's front porches. We're not taking any credit for it. We're picking it up and dropping it off and just letting it go and helping as many people as we can, because let's face it, tomorrow it could be you that's, you know, needs it. So I'd rather help somebody, and so when I need it, somebody can help me back. So yeah, so I picked up a food drive and a Christmas drive in the process of everything else because I was bored.
I don't understand how you can be bored, sister, but you're doing so much, which is awesome. And tell people about this Habitat for Humanity house, because I see the progress. I see everything on Facebook, which is awesome. But
yeah, that's another thing that we follow. And I'm actually just got asked to join the board of Habitat nationally. I'm going to be the disability liaison, because a lot of people don't fill out the paperwork and stuff for Habitat because they don't realize that it doesn't go against your disability or your check or anything like that. But it's not a free house. You have to qualify. You have to take classes. You have to put in sweat equity. And you do pay a mortgage. It's a 0% interest mortgage, so it's a lot cheaper. But I got to build my own home. I know every square inch of it. And let me tell you, swinging a sledgehammer is my new free therapy. I absolutely love it. I got to bust through walls and knock down bathrooms. And I'll tell you, go and volunteer, because there is something for everybody, and show everybody, whether you have a disability or not, you can put your hands to work and you can be like everybody else.
And when's your home going to be ready?
We're hoping by December 1st. Fingers crossed.
I know you said soon. I know you said that it was coming up close. So that's
Yeah.
awesome.
We're hoping by December 1st before they shut the state down again with this corona. So we're hoping.
Yes, fingers crossed for you. Well, as you all can see, Tina is motivated. She has a ball of energy. There's so much that she does. And Tina, tell people how they can stay involved, you know, after this meeting, how they can get involved with RAMP, how they can get involved with the Red Bag Initiative, how they can do everything.
You can get involved as little or as much as you would like. We're always looking for committee members. We're looking for organizations across the country. So if you want to pick it up and you can follow our way of doing things in your state, we have t-shirts that we have all made. So you can go on, you can buy a t-shirt, you can buy the red bag, you can learn how we do all of the things that we do. And, you know, we can work together and we can just raise awareness all in the same way, all together. Because like I said, I have talked on the Senate and the Congress floor in Washington through Zoom, through this pandemic and everything. And we won't even say it, but that big E word. So going out there. So I'm well connected, I'm well involved, but I can't do it without everybody. Yes, I have a big mouth, but I need all of the ideas and I need all of the connections, and I want to spread all of your information. So let's work together, because it doesn't really matter who gets the credit. Like I said, I don't care. I want to work together and be all on the same page.
Well, you and I have been talking, you know, off and on, at least the last week or so specifically, but you said, you know, the hard work is kind of done. You have laid the groundwork with getting the 501c3s. So if somebody really is serious about wanting to bring RAMP to their country or to their county, to their city, to their state, it's something that can easily be done.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the best part about it is, like you said, you don't have to do the whole 501c3 and the whole building of the organization. And you know what? If you try it for a few months and it's too much for you, or you don't seem to pick it up, no harm, no foul, because you don't file any paperwork or anything. It's all under us. You know what I mean? So as long as you're doing it all in the right way and you're trying your best, try it. You don't like it, don't do it. But if you want to just like certain initiatives or certain ways of doing things, just pick up those things. It's as much or as little as you want.
Yeah, but it sounds like it's just all about joining forces, and we all can do it our parts and see what we can accomplish when we work together as a bigger picture. And I love
absolutely.
that. I love that. Well, those were all the questions. I mean, I could talk to Tina for the next hour and a half, just her and I, but I don't want to do that. I think everybody else should get a chance to ask Tina about, you know, her organizations and everything else. So let's open it up. I would love to get questions if you guys want to, you know, verbally ask it, and if not, we can go through the chat as well. So let's get some questions going for Tina. All right,
Tina,
Ben.
I've got one for you. Thank you for all that you do for us and our community, and I mean globally, not just nationally. I think you're just such an awesome, inspirational person. I'm so glad we met. What interests me in the Habitat for Humanity work that you're doing, were you able to work with the architects and consult with them on what are the best ways to make a house accessible? Is that something that after working with you that they're going to take other places?
I am so glad you asked me that question, because that is one thing I wanted to talk about. I have been on the ground floor of this house, and everybody who knows me for half a second knows whatever I'm blessed with, I'm going to give back tenfold. So everything in my home is 100% accessible, down to the microwave that is audible, because I can't be with my bladder machine, can't be near a microwave. So it's voice commanded. My trash can is sensory commanded. My bathroom vanity was hand built. So my wheelchair pedals can go right under the bottom. The sink comes over my knees. So we are going to take every aspect to even the deck and the construction of it. And we are going to do videos out to everybody. We've been working with contractors already. Like, for an example, when you go to a home and you see a deck, it's always a step down. So I asked the contractors, why do you do that? Why do you not just build the deck well, it's something we've always done. I said, well, do you realize if somebody had like a baby in a walker or a knee stroller or a wheelchair or anything, and they could roll right out as one less thing that they have to be accessible? So now in the state of Rhode Island, new builds are having the deck built flush to the doors that nobody ever thought of before. So we are 100% using this house as everything that you need in a wheelchair accessible home, down to we haven't received it yet, or we haven't gotten one volunteer, but I'm not going to stop, a generator. Because when you're in a power wheelchair or you use medical, the biggest, scariest thing is power outages. Like, we lost power for 6 days a couple of months ago. People are worried about losing their food, and I understand. I'm worried about getting to the bathroom. Never mind losing food. I want to get to the bathroom and let my dogs out. They're like, well, do you have a flashlight by the bed? Yeah, that's great, but my wheelchair is dead, so what's the flashlight going to do for me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, minor things that people do not think about. So yes, we are going to use this house as a model to make everything accessible across our state and beyond, and everything that Habitat does going forward. That's exactly why they're taking me on as their disability liaison, so we can make it accessible looking forward. Like, we have a bill right now going on that to every duplex that's built, one side has to be flush to roll in. And it looks like it's going to pass. So we're working very, very hard on using this blessing for my family and paying it forward to others.
I have a question.
Okay.
How does one afford all of those accessible features or assistive technology in the house?
We've been blessed because we've been using Habitat for Humanity. So a lot of our stuff has been donated to us because it's a Habitat for Humanity house. A lot of the accessibility, but we are working, like, Rhode Island is one of the only states that has a home modification grant where you can apply up to $5,000 and have the grant repaid to you. We're one of the only states, and we want to model this and take it to other states. Ramp, when Ramp gets bigger, like I said, we're only a little bit more than a year old, but when we get bigger, we want to be the person to grant the grants out. When we can get enough funding, we want to be the people to help people afford it. Because let's face it, we don't even get to choose the only wheelchair that we sit in, you know, especially when we have a power chair and we still have to pay 5 to 20% of it. People can't afford that on a disability. We want to help make that more affordable. We want to help make the accommodations a little bit easier down the road. But we're working with on state levels, federal level, and through our organization. We're trying to make this all possible for everybody. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah.
Mary, did you want to ask Tina your question, or do you want me to just read it? Mary typed something in the chat box, and she's asking about CAPS. Do you use Certified Aging in Place, CAPS, from National Association of Home Builders? Mary, did you want to talk to Tina about that?
I don't think so, because I don't know exactly what that is, so I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to speak out of turn, but I will look it up. I work with construction companies in my own state right now, and then I have gone to a Zoom meeting with National Builders Contractors Association to take my ideas that I've talked about in my state with some of the bigger contractors and talk to nationally with some of my ideas. I'm not exactly sure.
CAPS is part of the National Association of Home Builders.
Yeah, I don't think I've been part of that. I've been a part of, like, the construction companies. But like I said, I'm not against talking to them. I just haven't had that platform yet.
I'm sorry, Tina.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Lisa has typed a comment about CAPS in the chat. I don't know, Lisa, if you want to talk about that. She said that CAPS is a great program, but it's not well
Um,
known, obviously.
Am
Yeah,
I
it's-
muted? Am I on?
You're on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the certified aging in place is actually a certification that people can get, and often occupational therapists will have it, and they will then use it to assist people who, for instance, might have a home that's not accessible, but they want to convert it to a more accessible place. And also the National Association of Home Builders, they're the people who have developed the CAPS certification. So if you want to get CAPS certified, you would go through the National Home Builders Association to get that. I don't know how common it is. I know I'm actually a physical therapist by training, but I know that a few years ago I took a therapy course. It was a therapy course taught by a home health occupational therapist, and she was CAP certified, and she ran a business where she would help people to, you know, basically modify their homes.
Well, talking on that subject, yes, I can honestly say now, yes, I have actually been working with home modification companies who are involved with me and with Habitat for Humanity that do this for a living with occupational and physical therapists on the board. So it's not just us. I am the disabled person, show them different ways of doing it. They have their ways of doing it, and we come to a collaborative together. So yes, we do have people who are certified, who have been speaking and helping along the way as well. Like even the simplest thing is like modifying the kitchen where the stove is right next to the sink. So that way when you're jumping a bowl of pasta, it's in one swift move instead of like trying to go across. And the refrigerator and the disposal, like where everything is in wheelchair assistive, to make it more convenient. So we've even like constructed the way we laid it out to be more convenient to everybody. More open floor plan. I can't wait till you all see my bathroom because my bathroom is gorgeous. And I haven't been able to fit my wheelchair in my bathroom in 5 years. So just having my bathroom, I cannot wait to bring it all in.
I was a CAP certified, but it costs, well, I work with the Flathead. I'm in Montana. So probably there's not a ramp in Montana. I kind of doubt it. But I worked with the Flathead Association and tried to get, and I went to the home and garden shows and everything and tried to get builders interested. Couldn't do it. They weren't interested.
What you need to do, and what I'm finding is going to the home and garden shows. I'm finding isn't. They need to see real world. They need to see in your lane. So bringing them into the Habitat House, because builders have to go by the Habitat House because they have to, you know, be on site. So when people actually see real world, or like I said, when you roll through, like, or when I go to a bathroom into a public place and it's not convenient, grab a manager, grab somebody and say, hey, can I borrow a minute of your time? I just want to show you something to see if maybe you can pass it up the ranks. Sometimes I get a call back, sometimes I don't, but I'm kind of relentless and don't take no for an answer, and I keep visiting and keep getting stuck in their bathroom, and they're eventually going to fix it because they're sick of me getting stuck in their bathroom. So so you kind of got to be a little bit persuasive, but do it with a smile and just don't give up, and you will eventually get in front of the right people. And that's what it is. It's getting in front of the right people.
Yeah, I'm not in a wheelchair, so I'm an occupational therapist and assistive technology professional.
Well, I'll come out and visit you, and I'll help you get in front of the right people.
Okay, there you go.
And if they don't listen to you, you just accidentally run over their feet with your power wheelchair, and they tend to have a little bit more attention to you.
Yeah, we have a whole basement, so I don't know. The house next door to us was accessible, but we only lived there for a while. They sold it now, so yeah.
So Allison said she also was CAP certified, but Allison Baird, Allison's a regular here in our town hall meeting. So hey, Allison. She didn't recertify 2 years ago. So I guess I'm kind of curious about how you go about getting certified for that.
It was a 3-day course, basically for the National Home Builders Association. You take the course. Don't remember, there must have been a test at the end of it, but it was a mix of, there were architects, there were builders, contractors there. The good thing was it was everybody who was interested in accessibility, and it was very interesting because being a therapist and they didn't even know, how we could work together. And so going to the CAPS course, it was great because at least now you had people who are not familiar with working with, like as far as contractors and builders, not familiar with working with healthcare professionals who may have something to add to it, to the subject. Then, they kind of recognize the value then of, hey, we could talk to people who are in healthcare. We could talk to people in the community and find out some information, and it opened their eyes a little bit more than maybe your typical contractor who's at the home and garden show. Maybe.
What a great resource is like I said, I like to leave the professionals to the professional job, and they get a little big head and they feel all good when they can come up with a solution for you. It's basically your idea, but they've come up with a real solution to it. So, they take the credit. It's great. But go to your chambers of commerce. You know what I mean? Go to your chambers of commerce. Go to the meetings. Join in. You get to meet people from all walks of business and life. And like I said, you spark their ego by slowly giving them the ideas, but letting them have the light bulb and praising them like, that's a great idea. Not that I just gave it to you, but great idea. You're doing good. Run with that. How else can we get involved with more people?
The secret.
Your business. It's true. It's the virtual slap in the back of the head to kind of like shake them up a little bit. But when they think it's their idea, and this is why I say we're stronger together, that you bring the idea, they run with the light bulb, and in the end, you find something that's accessible and inclusive, and you're all working together. So isn't that the goal anyway? So who cares who actually came up with the idea? That's not the point. The point is now we can get in and we can access, and we're all working together.
Yep, you win, I win.
Yeah. I'll stroke your ego to have you do something for me and make it accessible. I'm good.
I agree.
Tina, how can we get involved with RAMP and the Red Bag program in Illinois?
You can message me and we can have a conversation, and we can figure out how to get the red bags out there to Illinois. I mean, in the meantime, you can buy them in bulk, or you can have businesses find a couple of business sponsors and they can buy them in bulk. And then you can start passing them out in Illinois. That's the best way. Or have a GoFundMe, a fundraiser, that this is an initiative you want to start in Illinois. You can do it all under the RAMP umbrella. When we raise enough money, we can send the red bags out there to you, and then you guys can distribute them in the way that you want to distribute them.
Yeah,
And that's in any state.
I think it'd be good to maybe get also schools involved, because there are a lot of student councils that do service projects and different organizations in the high schools and the elementary schools. So that might be a really good project if you have students. I mean, if you know people with kids, in school that are looking for a project, I think that'd be a fantastic way to get the kids involved too.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, the red bag isn't just for people with disabilities, it's for everybody. So it's a good way to give them a small glimpse into our world, but yet being able to help everybody. Like I'm plugging these red bags as what a great stocking stuffer. Save your family's life. Give everybody in your family a red bag in your stocking. Seriously, you could be saving their lives.
Yeah, that's great.
Anybody else? I could talk all day.
I guess I would just like to say thank you for doing what you do. I was not aware of this entity, and I will be checking it out a good bit more.
Oh, we'd love to work with you. And like I said, we're not all about taking the credit. If something that we do resonates with you and we can help build it in your state or from wherever you are, I have no problem reaching out and sharing my ideas and helping you navigate something that you had a hard time navigating. And we'll just make it work. You know, let's share ideas. Let's figure it out and let's make it work. That's exactly what we are all about.
Anybody else? out
We can have a
there?
dance party.
Heck yeah.
How should we message you, on Facebook or?
You can message me on Facebook. I am the be all end all of my Facebook page. So when you're messaging Ramp, the only person you're going to get is me. So know that. But yeah, you can message me on Facebook or you can email me. My email is ramp, R-A-M-P, Tina, T-I-N-A, @yahoo.com. It's really simple. Ramp Tina. Can't forget my organization or me. I did it on purpose. So you had to think of both of us. You can email me and I can help you guys with anything that you guys need to. And if you guys have ideas that we can bond together, please reach out. We want to collaborate. The more organizations we pull together, the bigger we grow together, the better we get accessibility and inclusion done faster. So let's work together. Let's not, you know, have this, you know, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. Let's work together. My whole idea is I want everybody pooling their ideas and doing this together.
I do have an idea, but it's, I've been working with Viscardi Entrepreneurship, and it's for, I have a disability, and it's for people with disabilities. And we're having a pitch fest Thursday, but mine is a for-profit company, so I don't know. But what I do is teach, what I want to do is teach service providers a range of curriculum, like range of motion, sensory integration, operating lifts, adaptive recreation.
That's a great idea. And when you get it up and running, come on my podcast and let us help you promote it. We're for-profit, nonprofit, businesses, resources. We do a little bit of everything. So when it's up and running and you're ready to share the idea.
It's affordable.
Yeah.
I only charge $100 a presentation hour for everybody. So it's affordable, but it's not free.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. So when you're ready to present it, come on my podcast. We'll book you in and we'll get it out there. That's what we want to do. We want to help take your ideas to the next level.
Okay. I'm immunocompromised, so I'm on a virtual platform. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the
Tina?
typical, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Miss Lisa.
Oh, I'm curious, what's the typical presentation you do in the schools? It sounded like you said you do some presentation in the schools, Tina?
Yep. It depends on the level that we're going into, like elementary. We do book readings on disability. We've actually pulled a lot of books from people that I know with disabilities that wrote books, that I have them send them to me and we read those books. I usually go into the school with anywhere between 4 to 6 people with all different disabilities who are all part of my organization. And we read books to all different classrooms. And then we come together in one presentation and we let the kids ask different questions about our different disabilities. We let them see us all together. Some of us have the little hands. Some of us have the no knees where they can walk, but they still can't do stairs. I'm in my wheelchair, but I roll around on the floor with the kids. You know, and we let the kids ask questions. And then when we get to the middle and high school, we talk about bullying and how this is only a 3 to 4 year period of your life and these people don't matter and you probably won't be talking to them, you know, when you get over, but you need to be strong enough with who you are and be okay with who you are and move on. And, you know, then we do a little bit more explaining about, you know, the disability and more questions and we get them involved in projects. We have more volunteers that are school age kids in our organization than we do anybody else, because if we can mold the young minds to be okay with disability, they're going to do great things. You know, some of the older people, it's like teaching an old dog new tricks. Sometimes they're set in their ways and they don't want to change. But if you get into the school age kids, we have them out at things, events and fairs with me and running around and playing volleyball and all different kinds of things with us and our wheelchairs and our disabilities and the Best Buddy programs. We're wicked into all of the Best Buddies programs. We've actually done proms here in Rhode Island for all of the Best Buddies athletes and their regular dates. And oh my God, that's been life changing. Now we're bringing that to Massachusetts and New Hampshire and everybody around us, because I hate it when I see somebody, oh, this regular person asked this person with Down syndrome to a prom and let's like make it go viral on Facebook. Why? They're like everybody else. They should be normally asked like everybody else. It's not a big different approach. They should be treated like everybody else. So this prom is just treated like everybody else and it's no different. And the kids absolutely love it. And it's a part of everything else. So it depends on the ages. It depends on where we're going and what the school wants us to do. We can gear it to whatever the school wants us to do. And like I said, the colleges, we work on projects. We have so many senior projects going on right now. I think I have 13 senior projects going on right now in colleges, from colleges across Rhode Island and Massachusetts right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
It's very cool. That's something that I would like to do out here in Colorado. Is I've already done some of the education kind of on my own when I was Miss Wheelchair Colorado and so many other things, but I do agree that educating the youth is such an important thing, because as soon as if they learn at a younger age, it really does change their views on a lot of things. So,
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I'll tell you, I have been named American Woman of Service 2019 and 2020, which is a title I'm even more proud of because I was the only person of disability in the competition. Last year, I ran against 32 women. I ended up with 9 out of the 12 awards, and I came in with second runner-up. This year, I competed again, and I was against 30 women in the middle of a pandemic, again, being the only person in a wheelchair with a disability. I ended up with 8 of the awards and first runner-up. And it's not a typical pageant. It's one about community service and giving back. I've gotten overall speech award 2 years in a row. I've gotten the overall volunteer of the year award, 3,500 hours of volunteer hours, even in the middle of a pandemic. So those are the things that I'm proud of. So we can even make our mark in regular competitions and regular pageants. And that's where you see the big thing is, you know, day one, you go in and everybody's like, I'm competing against this chick in a wheelchair. Like, how is this going to work? And by the end of the week, they don't even see my wheelchair anymore. They just see me. And that's what makes the biggest difference in the world. I don't ask for special accommodations. I don't get special accommodations. I do what everybody else does, the best that I can. And it just works. And we're opening people's eyes and we're breaking barriers every day. And that's what's important.
absolutely. Well, you know, we usually keep these meetings going about an hour and we're close to there. So does anybody else want to reach out to Tina, ask Tina anything else before we wrap up the evening? Obviously, she's more than happy to speak to everybody offline as well, but anything else you want to get answered before the meeting ends?
There's a pitch fest Thursday for SCARDI for the entrepreneurs with disabilities. We're the first cohort, and it's about 12 or 13 people. And it would be to your benefit that some people watch that, because they all have
Send me the link.
disabilities.
I'd be more than happy to watch it.
Yeah, just look up the SCARDI pitch fest.
Yeah,
It's in the chat.
just send me the link. I'm emceeing a caregivers conference
Oh, there it
Wednesday,
is.
Thursday, Friday this
Somebody
week. So
sent
if I
it
can fit
already,
it in the
so-
middle, I would
Yeah.
love to watch it.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. All right, well, Tina, I mean, I can't thank you enough. Like I said, I'm already motivated to get out and definitely get more involved and do more, because you are making a huge difference out there. So I want to personally say thank you, and I appreciate everything that you're doing. And I look forward to you and I working together a little bit more. And I look forward to seeing all the partnerships that can come out of this meeting, because I think, again, as Tina was saying, it's all about coming together and more voices in one. And it's
Absolutely. I just want to say, if everybody could check out our website, www.rampisInclusion.com. Check out some of our t-shirts. That's how we you know, keep going. Check out our red bag initiatives. Reach out, message me. My favorite line, and it will always be my favorite line, don't just sit there, make a difference. And the pun is intended because I do sit in a wheelchair. But my whole goal is, how sick are we fighting to be invited to have a seat at the table? We already have the chairs. Let's make everybody fight to be at our table. We will create the table and let everybody join us, because no one can talk for us but us. So let's work together and make it happen.
Yeah. You're a rock star. A lot of us have been saying Tina 2024. So
Hey, I'm ready. Let's go for it.
I know you're ready to go. So Tina, thank you so much. It's been a very fun evening. I just want to let you guys know about our next Unite for CRT meeting. We're looking at December 15th, and it's going to be a discussion about how we're all going to survive the holidays. And that's probably going to be a little bit of a different outlook this year, with the world a little different right now. But I think it'll be a really fun discussion. Again, very open forum. So, you know, please come back. Please join us on December 15th. Tell others, and hopefully you'll learn as much as you did tonight. But Tina, thank you. You are absolutely amazing. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you everybody for having
Thank
me.
you,
I enjoyed
everyone.
it. Bye guys.
I
Good night, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Good night.